One would start locally to source the product. And if you can't find any local manufacturers willing to make your product, or you can source a pre-made product from, then that's when you start looking at globally. And doing your research and attending trade shows, a lot of these manufacturers, they normally have annual trade shows where you could attend and actually get to know more about their businesses, where they've been, and more about the products that they provide. Most of the time we go for one manufacturer and you think that the manufacturer is going to do the product as you would want it. You would actually have to maybe source out 3 to 4 manufacturers. Before you even think about doing a bulk order or going into production, you have to ensure that you do prototypes, and those prototypes will cost a bit of money that you'd have to invest. That's like investing in yourself and investing into the brand. Prototyping really ensures that your product comes out the way that you want it by the time you go into production. Always also try to have a tech pack. A tech pack is something that actually helps. It's like a Bible for your product that tells the manufacturer where you what kind of materials you like to use, and the lengths and the measurements of the product, the functionality of the product, so that when you get your prototype, if any of those items were not infused in the product, it's where you can actually go back and really investigate if the issue was with the manufacturer not knowing what they're doing, or it could be that the tech pack did not give so much of the information. And if you find that you're a startup and you don't have the money to actually produce those orders, what we did, like when I started my business, I didn't have a lot of money to buy like 10,000 pairs of shoes to sell in stores. So then you start speaking to your manufacturer to see if there's any other way that you can still be able to buy products from them and sell them. So either you can do pre-orders whereby on your end of the retail, where you can get orders from your consumers. So using basically the prototype that you've created to show it to a consumer so that they can make orders and then take those orders, and then you basically ask your manufacturer to create the orders that you have taken there, to ensure that your global manufacturers, you know, their production timelines, because there's nothing worse than promising a client that they will get an order in 4 weeks. Meanwhile, the product that you produce will take 3 months to make.
Build in that agility to be able to scale. As more features come along, you need to be able to respond as legislation changes, which it happens more frequently than you think. You need to be able to incorporate that.
When you're looking at free apps, always look at what their next tier is, because you want to know where you want to grow to. So there are some amazing free apps, not just because they might not exist in the future, but they seem really great in their free tier, and they probably are enough for what you need now. But then when you grow, all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, that's expensive, and had I went with something else, it would have been cheaper in the long run. So always look long term, not just the short term.
The power of word of mouth. It's something that I've found to be kind of one of the strongest marketing strategies that you can actually use, especially with the amount of technology and communication that we have in this kind of day and age.